Hello, welcome to week 2 of MPAI 600 here at Georgetown University School of Continuing Studies. So, announcements, just keep up the effort. I saw the UBL posts. I think they were all pretty good. You'll get feedback early this week. But I think they were, for the most part, solid. I know some of you, this is your first course, but effort comes up here and then it goes away as the course goes on. Please don't do that. Please keep this up, and I look forward to your discussion posts going forward. And again, discussions are 500 words total. So if there's one question, it's 500 words. If there's two questions, which we'll have in future posts, it's 250 words each. So review of last week, UBL capture, obviously that was the case study, and we went in detail. And you saw how the three intelligence disciplines coordinated to get the target, for lack of a better term, that they overlapped and they used each other to get a better analysis. So you had the SIGINT, you had the connection between Al-Kuwaiti and the courier in this case, and that allowed bin Laden to be tracked. That was like the final piece that allowed bin Laden to be located. You had the human, the Hassan Ghul, the interrogation of Hassan Ghul and his, his interrogation, and which led to the name of the courier and led to his being identified. And then GeoWent, this was two ways. One, they had overhead surveillance of the bin Laden compound, but they used GeoWent to actually kind of identify that there was multiple families there. They knew of 3 families. They knew of a pacer, a guy walking back and forth. They couldn't obviously identify who that was, but given the families were there, given that Osama bin Laden had multiple families, that was another indicator that it was Osama bin Laden. And then finally, GeoWent was used to actually map out the structure prior to the raid. If you're conducting a special forces raid, you need very specific details on the layout of the building. And, if we enter through the front door, we take 4 steps, and on the right, there's another staircase which gets to a second door, which is locked by a metallic doorknob. Those are the types of intel you need if you're going to conduct a raid like the bin Laden raid, and GeoWent was helpful in that. So you see all of the 3 ints being put together for a product going forward, and I think the bin Laden case study really exemplifies that. And then the intelligence cycle, I talked about it. I have the amended intelligence cycle, as you saw in my lectures. The important thing as we go forward, when we talk about intelligence collection or intelligence failures, is that where in that cycle was there a breakdown? In order for intelligence to be accurate, all those things, from requirements to collection to briefing to politicians to politicians or military leadership taking an action, all those things have to happen. If one of those things are amiss, then there's an intelligence failure. So it's almost surprising that we don't have more failures, because all these things have to happen in their correct order. So week 2, you are due the collection strategy this week. Go ahead, pause me now, and I'll give you an example of a collection strategy. Okay, so you can unpause me, or welcome back, I should say. That was a very good paper, very clear, concise. What was lacking, though, I just want to emphasize, was that their requirements were blue force or policy oriented. All right? I want to make sure that's clear. Instead of the requirement of does our initiative prevent human smuggling in Denver, it should be what is the composition of people who are being human trafficked around Denver between ages 18 to 25, right? That is a threat-based requirement. Don't try and evaluate your own systems with these requirements. Try and evaluate from a threat-based perspective. So again, I want you in this week, develop requirements, apply the intelligence disciplines, analyze pitfalls in the collection cycle, and be creative. Some of you might struggle, some of you might get wrapped around certain things. At this point, I just want you to put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard and try and come up with a potential answer in a creative way. This is to assess, whether you've actually listened in these first 2 weeks. It's also to assess if you've got some basic writing skills as well. So whatever problem you want to look at, whether it's the Bin Laden case study, but most people look at something that they're interested in, whether through their work or their own personal interest. So readings. The Lowenthal Chapter 6, the Intelligence Tradecraft Primer, and then the documentary PBS Frontline, The Confessions. I will say this in here, in the discussion section, you will not get full credit unless you show me that you've applied the Intelligence Tradecraft Primer to the Confessions case study. All right? Where in the Confessions case study, it's police got it wrong badly. And the question is why? Why did they get it wrong? What intelligence, psychological tools or psychological makeup did they create errors for? What biases did they have that led them to this horrible, wrongful conviction of these very innocent sailors that you'll watch? By the way, it's a great documentary. If you have family movie night, you can watch it just to watch it with little kids. But I think it'd be interesting to a wide variety of audiences. So that's this week. If there's questions or issues, please let me know.